Hello guys, the DB Grinder here, back at it again with another video, and this time I'm going to be going over some of the interesting decks from the regionals last weekend, and also make sure to go ahead and check out the spreadsheet, and then hopping right in. Also, the spreadsheet will be linked down below. So the first deck list is a voiceless voice deck list, and also this got first place at a regional. It was played by Chester Henson, which if you don't know who that is, they got first place at Nationals 2017, so definitely a good player. So going ahead and looking over this, it's not completely standard. We can see 3 Skull Guardian, 1 Sir Arvis. You know, a lot of people play 2-2. Main deck's 3 Fenrir, which I think main deck in 3 Fenrir is a lot more doable, especially on like a regional level, because you're going to be playing against a lot more like random stuff, so that helps out. And also, that card does work with the engine pretty well, because you get to add a level 7 to hand, so then you can like Queen, Tribute a Fenrir from hand, bring out Skull Guardian. Then we have Ash, Veiler, Nib, Imperm. We only play 2 Barrier in the deck. You know, everybody else plays 3 of that card. 2 Pot of Prosperity, a Called By, plays 41 in the main deck. Extra deck, we do play the Celine, you know, Charmer, Access Code, and then of course like the IPSP. I mean that like the IPSP is definitely good. The IPSP is definitely good. Side deck, we see Summon Limit, some Bestials, Ghost Ogre, Phantasma, so, you know, very prepared for the mirror match in the side too, but also, like, you know, these do work in the other matchups also. But okay, has some backer removal, but not too much backer removal. This deck does have, like, a pretty decent matchup in the back row, but then also on top of that, you know, you also have Fenrir in the main deck, which is like more help against back row. Now on to the next list. This got top 8 at that same Kentucky regional. This is a Runic Stun deck. Now I know this deck list isn't very interesting, but I wanted to bring it up because Runic Stun did top a decent amount of the regionals this weekend. It did get a couple spots in the top cut. So, you know, this is a deck that if you are going to a YCS, you should probably be testing against this deck, at least a little bit. You don't need a lot of testing against it, but, you know, at least test against it a little bit. Learn how to play against it properly. Also, very interesting to see Zeus in the deck. Very, very interesting to see Zeus in the deck. Because you, like, barely ever get to really go into this stuff. And only 1 Munin. That means, like, if time's coming, it could end up being a little bit rough. And also, you end up making this card a lot and just sitting on it and, like, gaining life points. And then if they out your stuff, then, like, you know, you're fine anyways. You don't have to, like, Runic Spell to block attacks, and then if you Runic Spell block attack, then they get Princess to summon, and then yada yada yada. If they're playing Fire Kings, then it's Princess, Garunix, a few different bodies. But yeah, we can also see another list from that same regional top 8. You know, still see, like, Inspector Border in the main deck. You know, I mean, nothing about the list is that crazy, to be honest. It's just, you know, Runic Stun. It's just, you know, be prepared for the deck. That's pretty much why I want to show that one there. And then next, we have YuGiOh Gaming. I got first place at a regional. So talking about this deck list, you know, once again, Fenrir in the main deck. Very good for regionals. Also, even if you weren't main decking this, you could side deck it. It is very good in, like, a hand trap war. Like, if you hit your opponent with, like, you know, it pretty much, if you stop your opponent with hand traps and special Fenrir, the game's almost over. Or if you go first and you special Fenrir and then you get stopped with hand traps, then, you know, you could still have, like, Fenrir plus a hand trap or 2 or something, and then, you know, that might be enough to stop them. Also works very well with, like, Black Witch, 1-for-1, Wanted, having, like, a free discard with it. Main deck's Bestial, so 3 Ash, 3 Veiler, 3 Nib, 3 Imperm, so, like, 12, like, generic type of hand traps, 2 Bestials, 2 Talents, and then Fenrir in the deck. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't play Cross Out anywhere, doesn't play Called By anywhere, just strictly trying to play through the hand traps. You know, Talents does help you with hand traps too. Side deck Solemn Strike instead of maybe, like, you know, like a Summon Limit or something. Which, you know, once again, like, if you get to, like, a hand trap war, if you get hand trapped, like, twice and you don't really end on anything, then Summon Limit's not the greatest card. Where Solemn Strike in that position is a lot better. Then we have some more Bestials in the side deck, a second Druid Worm and a Baldrake. Doesn't have, like, a Sorneer anywhere for, like, the chain blocking ability, which is fine. I don't think it's that important. Has, you know, a bunch of back removal. Very good, especially for a regional. And then we have a Centurion deck list. Now, this deck list isn't like too crazy, to be honest. Just it's like it plays the super heavy samurai stuff, but a lot of the players have been putting the super heavy samurai stuff into the main deck. Therion King. But then also, main decks the Bystials, which, we've seen the list before this was main deck and Bystials. So we see Bystials getting main decked a little bit more. And then on top of that, this deck works very well with the Bystials because, you have level 4 Tuner, Bystial, make Baron, and then also, like, if you're forced to use Baron Interruption, like the negate with it, you can go, like, Bystial, tag back out in the Druid Swarm, and then special out of Primera. That makes Baron again, Druid Swarm send, Baron Interruption now on their turn. So it definitely helps you in those type of game states. But we can see 2 Moonlit, 2 Ogre, 3 Ash, 3 Nib, 3 Veiler. So it's 3, 6, 9, 13 hand traps, and then some Bystials. So, like technically it's 17 hand traps. But these are like the more generic ones. Obviously, like these aren't going to work against every matchup. I guess Ogre's also not going to work against every matchup. We see another Ogre in the side deck. We see Deck Lockdown, Scolding. Oh, also, they don't play the Centurion Trap anywhere. Okay. Interesting that we don't see the Phalanx anywhere. Yeah, Flame Banshee, you have to play that. Place this to search out the Therion King. But going on to the next deck list now, we have a Voiceless Voice branded deck list. Now, this was Franco Persanio, which, if you've watched the channel, you've seen him play a lot on DB before over the years. So he ended up getting first place at the regional in Argentina. But this deck list looks way more standard than the other deck list. To be honest, there's really nothing crazy in this one. I mean, 3 Nib, 3 Ash, 3 Veiler, 3 Imperm. We can see that this deck list has a lot less like going second cards than the other deck listed of like Chester Henson, but it also has a lot more engine in it, right? Like we have 3 Branded Fusion, a Fallen of Albaz, more Pot of Prosperity, the 3rd Barrier. So like, we have more engine, like we can play through hand traps better. But it's interesting how like, 2 different players that are good had like 2 different approaches on the same deck list, pretty much. I mean, the branded package isn't like that big of a difference, right? It's not like the difference of playing like Pure Snake Eye and Fire King Snake Eye. It's just a tiny difference here. Now we look at the extra deck. We don't see Excel Sync or anything, but we still see Baron. Okay, like Ash plus a 7 or something can end up making it. And we play the Lina, IP, SP, Anima, Dynamondo, Apo. Yeah, we have to play the package for the Branded Fusion. We don't play a very big package. You could play a little bit more of them, but I guess it's not really that important to have like another copy for Mirror Jade. And then, yeah, you're really ever even going... I guess, like, if you go Lubellion, it kinda sucks not having follow-up off of it. But again, it doesn't matter, like, that much, truly. Side deck, we do see 1 Magmama, no other Bystials. You may ask why, but it's because Magmama can search Fallen of Albaz, it can search Queen, Old Man, Sararvis. Like, it can search tons of engine stuff. So, if there's a matchup where Magmama's good in, which there are a lot of them, then sure, side it in, and it grabs you engine. So it lets you have, like, more to push with. Moonlit, Ogre, DD Crow. Definitely some good cards against the mirror match also. Side's Judgment for going first. Decided to not go with, like, a Floodgate. This got 2nd place at a regional. This deck list is wild. So this is YuGiOh with the Horus package. Decided to play 2 King Sarcophagus. Decided to play... Oh, I'm pretty sure this is a time card, but I'm not 100% sure. Like, I haven't actually thought about YuGiOh, like, that much, especially to the point to where it's like, now we need a time card, yada, yada, yada. Gustav Max also works. Let's see, Lancia in the side deck, Summon Limit in the side deck, main decks, 9 hand traps, 3 Super Poly, doesn't main deck Ash Blossom, maybe because it's a fire, and, like, they can Hida take it. Maybe that's why they decided to cut down on that. Also, only plays the 1 Shyama. Doesn't play, like, Shavara, Escape, or anything like that. I've seen a lot of people move over to 1 Shyama. And then next, we have a going second Labyrinth deck. So this deck list is cool. This deck, they also topped another regional not too long ago. This deck list is cool. So... like, the furniture and all that, like, this stuff can act as hand traps. But you have to draw like, combinations of them. Which if you have like Impulse and the Fire Attacker and Phantasme, you can fix a lot of your hands and try to get the combinations of that. Also, Fire Attacker is broken because then you get to like discard one instead of having to put back. So then you can discard like, a bunch of different things in this deck you'd rather discard than put back in your deck, right? Like over half of the deck at this point. We do play 3 Karma Cannon, which also works with like Butler. I don't know. This deck list is just wild to me. It is a wild deck list. Maybe we should be playing the 3 of this instead of 3 of this. I don't know. I haven't tested going second Labyrinth. They also said 2 Ariana for like when they think they're going first, or maybe when they decide to go first. They have, yeah, I guess like the Yama stuff, but that's just because it's good in the extra deck, especially if you're like locked in the Fiend off Welcome. Some Bestials in the side deck. I don't know. I just think this is a cool deck overall. It's definitely a cool deck list. Now for the last deck list, we have a Runic Bestial deck list, and we play the Water Engine in it. So you may remember, at the very, very beginning of Sprite, where people were going normal summon Deep Sea Diva, bring out the Octopus, and then this can be treated as a level 8 for a Synchro. So, pretty much just gives you a Synchro 10 right off the bat. Or you can go like normal Diva effect, bring this out, right? And then, now you can do multiple different things. You use Diva to make the Cupid pitch, etc., etc. So, I think it's cool. Again, I haven't like tested a deck list exactly like this, so I don't have too much to say about it, but I do think the deck list is overall cool. We play like the Crimson Gaia with the Vision Resonator. We play a Hoppier to search off Cupid pitch. We have Talents Called By, 2 Regained, the Runic Spells. The Runic Spells are pretty, good at going second right now. They're not like too broken, but they are pretty solid at going second. And then also like the Bestials are acting like hand traps right now against a lot of the decks. So, the Runic Bestial decks do have, something going for them with that. I do think, again, I don't know this list specifically, but I do know like the branded Runic Bestial deck. I know that deck gets hurt very bad. Like when it plays against like the Fire King Snake Eye matchup, it's hard. But, maybe this deck's a little bit better at it. But also, like, isn't this card just going to be, like, horrible to draw? So I don't know if it's even worth playing 2 of this card. Because can't you just, like, I don't know, couldn't you just cut this card down to 1? And then, like, who cares if Diva has to summon Diva? But I don't know. But that's going to be it for the video. I think for the future ones of these, where I go over like the regional deck profiles, I think I'm just going to go over the interesting ones, or ones where I can talk about specific things in the deck list. Let me know if you like videos like this instead of me going over like all of the deck list where it takes much longer. And with that being said, the DB Grinder signing off. Peace. Have a nice day. Stay safe.